We're just waiting on the players to get the game and the table set up, and then we'll get started with some commentary, and we'll do a full introduction and everything. But in the meantime, enjoy the lovely sounds of nature. All right, Star Wars players. Well, here we go with another Outrider Cup matchup taking place today. This is game number 3 of the event. Dark side will feature Sam Tashima, aka Yoshi, playing Shadow Collective, taking on Cedric Vanderhaegen, CE, playing light side, playing Ray Saga. Full disclosure, I, your host for today, Chris Gogolin, am a part of the U.S. Outrider Cup team. However, since all of the games are single matches only and none of the decks can be repeated or replayed, there's absolutely no competitive advantage or conflict of interest, really, with me reviewing this game and doing commentary for it. So I was advised to just make that disclosure ahead of time, just so there's no weird feelings about it afterwards, but here we go. All right, so Sam's going to get started with inconsequential losses, you'll be dead, and security precautions. Cedric's got my parents were strong on the training course, along with the Junkyard Falcon. And then he's got a Cunning Warrior to pull the interior corridor sights and lightsabers. And a good friend, which will let him get a bunch of other cards here. Be with me, Jedi Village, perhaps Leia's lightsaber, and then move stuff around. Apparently, Cedric is under the impression that Sam was supposed to be playing Endor Ops. I guess he perhaps misread the team game matchups incorrectly. Now I'm going to have to go to the forums and just double check that it's not listed there improperly. Outrider Cup pairings. No, it does say Sam Tashima, Shadow Collective, and Quiet Mining Colony. For Team USA, Joe is playing Endor Ops. So he, I guess, just misread or was not expecting this particular matchup. He'll blame it on Timo. Okay. I guess Timo told him the wrong thing. So Timo's 0 for 3. No, just kidding. So we're going to get started with this game here. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and watching on a weekday afternoon. And thank you, Kiss My Wookie, for the resubscription for 47 months now. Just one more to hit that 4-year mark. Blaming Timo is like the U.S. just blaming AJ. Makes perfect sense. Sure. Yeah. Blame Canada, blame AJ, blame Timo. I think it all works. All right. So this particular matchup's going to mostly focus on ground battles. The light side deck does have the Falcon on table, which they can deploy from hand. Stacks from outside the deck. Falcon may deploy here as if from hand. The Shadow Collective deck is probably just running, the first light and maybe one or two other ships. We'll see if either of them actually brought a system of their own. Otherwise, they're just relying on their opponent to go to one. I would expect a lot of it would just be more ground-based battled. We're going to see a lot of blasters shooting at light side characters. We're going to have some lightsabers and some evasion cards. So we'll have to see exactly, how those battles go and who has the answers and who gets the right destiny draws is most likely going to dictate how this game goes. Sam went ahead, pulled one of his sights here. First light bar was from hand. He had the 2-0 from the deck. He pulled Maul from deck using the sight, the Dathomir sight's text, and then during his move phase relocated to the 2-0. And then did not draw anything. That was basically his turn. Still effectively just playing with his opening hand at this point. Cedric's only getting 6 to start. He's going to ramp that up fairly quickly, though, with a couple extra locations that are all pullable. Right now, he's using a good friend, which is going to get him the Jedi Village. Jello Village, Jedi Village to start with. He can also use it again to get any of these other cards, Be With Me or Leia's lightsaber. For some reason, it's not a one rule, once per turn kind of thing. Probably because it didn't fit in the game text. There's really no extra room to fit it in there, so they were just like, we'll let you have them all the first turn if you want them. So he's going to get the village. See if he puts Luke there or not. Probably not. And then we got Be With Me, which is a card that came out back in set 17, but has taken a while to really take this deck to the next level. Ray Saga is probably the least popular of the three, but it's certainly been growing with the helpers they've given it the last couple sets. So it's on the 1-0, so the generation doesn't matter here, but Ray is now power and forfeit +1 for each Jedi out of play. Might come into hand later with Luke if he goes out of play. While Ray in battle, Destiny draws and Ray's weapon draws are +1, so she gets a big bonus to both weapon and battle destiny. Effectively, it's Anakin's ability, or what Luke can get through other cards. Ray and characters with her may not add battle destiny draws. You can still use interrupts to add battle destiny draws, but the character's game text doesn't add battle destiny draws. So EPPs and people like Lando and Affleck and stuff, or Boba Fett, don't add destiny draws there. And then Ray ignores your objective deployment restrictions, which won't come into play here. So Cedric got that out, used a Cunning Warrior to deploy the 1-0 Upper Plaza Corridor, dropped the Cloud City Guest Quarters from hand, and drew 5 cards. Went ahead then, after Sam activated, played My Sister Has It to go get Endor Chief Chirpa's hut. So playing Chirpa's, My Sister Has It to pull a couple of locations with Chirpa's hut and the Guest Quarters as his additional activation for now. So we've got 2 related locations here on Cloud City, so that should make things a little interesting with people moving around. Sam's going to go ahead and get the other First Light site out of his deck. And he's got the working much more closely, which effectively makes Maul immune to attrition when with a Jedi and defense value +2. There's a lot of 4s in this deck. So 8 is a lot safer than 6. Also gives him the ability to once per game deploy from reserve deck Kira. And then much like Phantom Menace, this does go used when Maul leaves table. Sam also just going to continue to play it slow. He's going to rebuild his hand a little bit here. He's got activating up to 13 now. He drew 7 or 8 cards here to get up to 14. Now he's going to masterful move non-combo, which is the Destiny 6. We'll see if he gets the non-combo Gick out of his deck. Would be my expectation. Cedric might be considering grabbing this here because it is a cyclable 6, which does make it a lot easier for blasters to shoot people, especially with Maul's ability that then gives you the option to add or subtract 1 from a battle or blaster weapon. So when all his guys are shooting with blasters and he draws a 6 and your guys, defense value 7, he just adds 1 with Maul and then you're hit. Cedric opts not to grab it. And we do see him pull the Gick indeed. All right, turn 2 for Cedric, activates 11. There's the Chirpa's hut from hand. There's the Luke Last Jedi, gonna go to the Cloud City site. And we've got a Yoda coming down as well, because this is limiting him to Rey and Episode 7 Luke. But you can always play Yoda. So he's allowed to pull that off. And a Jedi lightsaber from hand goes on Yoda as well. So you've got 2 ability 7 Jedi right there, and Luke has the ability during battle he can cancel and just redraw, which makes this a little more difficult to deal with as well. Because if you were to draw one of those 6s and then add one to make it a 7 to hit him, then Luke could use his ability and redraw it. Now, granted, there are a couple of probably 3 to 4 copies of this working more closely card. Is what we see in a lot of Shadow Collective decks. So he could draw some blind 7s and then not have to worry about it. But again, Luke could still do the redraw. And both these characters are completely immune to attrition, which is also a thing. So unless you are just straight up outpowering them, they would be difficult to deal with. Of course, it is only a drain of 2 there. You could also just opt to ignore them and spread out on your own sites and start doing your own damage. He does have You'll Be Dead to do the blaster ping for battleground sites controlled with the non-permanent blaster weapons. Both players have their grabber shields and their retrieval shields in play. The Ray deck does have some very strong retrieval options. Dark side, sometimes we see first strike in this deck. That would certainly be some retrieval. There's also the Jabba's Twerps, which we sometimes see, which is another Destiny 6 card that lets you retrieve a number of alien leaders at sites. The once per game pull there to get 3 or 4 force back. Okay, now that Cedric has committed 2 of his stronger characters to the Cloud City site, we see Sam basically spread wide here. He's got Hondo at the Cloud City site. He drops the Prince at the First Light reception area, and he gets Rook over at the First Light bar. He'll probably relocate Maul over here with him. He's got guns for everybody as well, so now we're threatening 3 ping damage. Plus he'll flip the objective, and that'll cause an additional ping, and then possibly drains of 1 at each location, depending on who wants to pull battle plan first. If you're Sam, you're kind of... I would think you'd want your opponent to pull it here, because you're the one threatening more drains, but Sam doesn't want him to drain for free this turn, so I guess he's going to go ahead and pull it first here. I could have seen him waiting that out, though. All right, so now we get to see an interesting card interaction. So he flips the objective because during his battle phase, his gangsters control 2 battlegrounds, so he's got Hondo and the Prince controlling 2 battlegrounds, so that flips the objective. When the objective flips, he gets the option to recirculate and then shuffle his deck if he does. And then after doing so, Rook's ability kicks in, which says, if Shadow Collective just flipped, may peek at top 2 cards of your reserve deck and take 1 into hand. So there's a little bit of a card engine here that he gets to pull off. Plus, he also gets to set up your Destiny draw, so you kind of know what you're looking at if you're going into a battle in terms of who to shoot at or where to battle and all of that other fun stuff. So certainly some interesting manipulation the Shadow Collective deck does have with Rook. Maul moves over as expected. Yeah. Back to what I was saying, I would have thought it would make more sense for Sam to not pull the battle order, just because he's the one threatening more individual drains that would be more cumbersome to pay for, so he would want his opponent to pull it to save him the shield pull here. But at the same time, with Cedric getting 15 force, if you don't want to lose 2, if he has to pay 3 to drain for 2, that only leaves him 12 to work with to come after your guys. So I can understand Sam trying to deny him some resources there. But I think if Sam didn't pull battle order there, Cedric would have drained for 2, and then Cedric would have pulled battle order or battle plan. Most likely to stop his opponent from getting these little drains of 1 in everywhere. So Cedric does pay for the drain as expected. Sam had played a double back to pull 4 Lam V, and now he'll lose the double back from the used pile, and then top decks a masterful move, which he knew was there because he put it there with Rook. So either he doesn't care about having a 6 on top of his deck, or the 13 cards in his hand are just so good he couldn't afford to lose one of them. Which now makes us all wonder, what does Sam have in his hand that's so good that he would lose a 6 off the top instead of dealing, losing one other card? All right. Cedric is going to send Ben solo to the first light reception area and then go look for Leia's lightsaber from reserve deck, because Leia's lightsaber goes on Leia, Ben, or Rey. Adds 1 to defense value and immunity to attrition. Well, Ben has no immunity, so... but it does add 1 to his defense value. That's going to push him up to a 6 defense value now. We usually see Ben come down a little later in the game because of his ability to get the lightsaber back from the lost pile, but sometimes you got to work with the characters you have available. Cunning Warrior does pull Anakin's lightsaber out of the deck. That goes on Luke over here, so this is now increased to a drain of 3. Okay, there's a Stunning Leader. See if Cedric has a canceller for it. Now, Ben would not be getting a Battle Destiny draw here, but you'd have to expect Cedric knows that ahead of time, right? That he either has Sorry About the Mess or a Clash of Sabers or something that he would use to just hit the prince and take him off the table before you get to that part of the battle. Cedric is going to sense the Stunning Leader. There is no Trias on the table. He will have to lose 2 force. He top decks an Unita and a Chewie with Blaster. The Sense goes lost. The Stunning Leader goes lost. Does Sam have a second one? We'll see in a second. Right now, he's retrieving 1 for initiating the battle now, because we're still in just actions. So he does get the Sense back to his used pile. There's Stunning Leader number 2. That will be successful. And now we'll have to see what Ben Solo wants to do here. I would assume he's going to have to move away to the 2-0. Sam has played all 4 shields. He can't pull Coward. Interesting. He moved over in front of Maul and Rook. And Luke moves over in front of Hondo. And Yoda comes along with them. Okay. He is blocking the ping damage here because it's only for sites you control. So this went from 3 down to 1. And Cedric does draw a couple cards. He drew the Hoojix for the Sense Destiny, so it seems unlikely that he would have that card in hand. Or a second copy. Ooh, there's a Disarmed. There goes Leia's lightsaber. Now it makes you wonder how many other disarms does he have? Because of all these options here, I mean, obviously you want to protect Maul the most, I guess. And Hondo could just move away, but you're also more likely to battle here, and if, you had options. But you don't want Maul to get hit, especially since Maul is only defense value 6 here because there's no Jedi. There's 1 ping damage from the blaster. and you'll be dead. He loses the Cloud City lower corridor from hand, the 2/2 site. Interesting. Yes, they both feel like there's Sam or Cedric feels like there's enough battlegrounds on the table already. Okay. And Sam plays the no escape to pick up a stunning leader and take it back into hand. So he'll have that defensively should he need it again. And now he gets a verify, trying to pull a blaster or something with the Shadow Collective objective. Nothing that he finds, but he does find Aura Sing, which Hondo can pull. Once per game can pull Honda. Hondo can pull Slave 1, Aura Sing, or Salacious Crumb. Well, a Kawakian. I think Crumb is the only version, the only one that we have of those. There's an Aura Sing, there's a Dr. E, and Ponda Baba. So we're looking at 18-5 in terms of power here. And if Aura hits, would make forfeit 0. This could be a big battle for Sam here. But Cedric's got 9 cards in hand. You'd have to imagine he's got some type of defensive maneuvers here. Aura's going to take her shot. There's a blaster deflection. That's going to get grabbed. Rook can take a shot here, which would flip the objective and let him set up some stuff. If he does hit. He would also give him the option to just Dr. E out of it, but it doesn't seem like he would need to do that at all here. Okay, it's a 3. That's going to be a miss. So it's 18-5, and Ben forfeits for 8, so 18-13 is kind of what we're looking at right now. Ooh, Darkseid draws a 7. Courage of a Skywalker gets played to reset that to 2 once per game. Okay, so he had a little bit of an out there. So that gets reset to 2, saving him quite a bit of force. He draws a 5. I'm sure Maul will subtract 1 here to make that a 4. Yeah, so it's 20-9, and Ben covers 8, so it's Ben and 3. And Dr. E gets forfeited for Sam. All in all, not bad. The objective does flip now, because gangsters control 2 battlegrounds. So he recirculates, he'll use Rook, immediately verify and check, and take a card into hand and see what he's working with destiny-wise. And then Cedric's going to have to peel 3. Probably see that my sister has it from used, maybe. There goes an Odin off the top, a Yoda from hand, and a Handle from reserve deck as well. Hondo will smartly move away. He'll still occupy the 3 battlegrounds now, so he'll get the 1 ping damage from the objective. Sam will draw 2 cards, save 1, in case he needs to play that stunning leader, and he'll get that 1 extra ping in. Cedric just 6 cards in hand. Luke and Yoda on table. Ben's in the lost pile. Might play a second copy. And we haven't seen Rey at all yet. No resistance in play either, so Cedric will pay 3 to drain for 3. And Sam's going to top deck again, and there goes Masterful Move off the top, so once again he had a 6 on top that he's getting rid of. Okay. And Danik Jericho, and a stunning leader from reserve deck. Carl, thank you very much for the resubscription with Amazon Prime. 40 months now. Big 4-0. Just like Mike Kessling, who recently celebrated his 40th birthday earlier this week. All right, there's Ben Solo number 2. Once per game, can deploy a lightsaber on Ben, so he can go get any saber out of the lost pile. So here we go again. I apologize, Mr. Schoenthal. I missed your resubscription earlier for 35 months. Thank you very much for that. You're just shy of 3 years now. I do believe you might get some cool prizes for that, too. And here's a neighboring Leeds. Luke and Yoda are going to neighboring over to the Prince's site. Okay. We know Sam has a stunning leader. I'd have to imagine he's going to use it to protect the Prince here. The Hondo versus Ben fight is unlikely to result in overflow. I would have to imagine this other fight here could go very badly for Sam, so he would have to play the stunning leader to get out of this one. And he does. Now we'll get Ben versus Hondo. Cedric does pay the 1. He retrieves the Rise of Skywalker and will take a swing. There's that Hoojix again. And a Ray. So that would miss. However, doesn't one of these cards let you redraw a Ray? No, actually it doesn't. Ray can take the Destiny draw into hand, but you can't take Ray. Okay. Yeah. So he Jedi Levs to cancel and redraw into Anakin, and therefore will miss. That is some bad luck there. Hondo shoots back and also misses. There's that Kira. So Kira's going to be on the bottom. So if he wants to deploy Kira with working more closely next time, he should know exactly where she is. All right, Cedric draws a 4 for Battle Destiny. Maul will subtract 1 to make it a 3. So Hondo's going to live. The blaster's just going to get forfeited used. And Sam draws a 1. Another bad draw for him. But it is enough to kill Ben, who has no immunity to attrition. Hondo will send the gun to the used pile. And then he'll have to lose a card. You might want to lose the Boba Fett first. Yeah. Get that bad Destiny draw out of there. Then forfeit the gun used to cover the difference. So Sam's got 16 in reserve deck right now. Plus 3 in used pile. He's only activating 14 force. So he can activate down, leave 5. He can pull Kira and the gun from his deck, and then only have 3 cards left, and will know what his destinies are for any upcoming battles this turn. Cedric does get to draw a couple cards back up to 7. Life force counts, just because I know the numbers are a little small. Sam's got 11 in hand and 19 down for 30 total cards. Cedric has 7 in hand and 26 down for 33 total cards. All right, Sam gets 1 ping damage from You'll Be Dead, and it's a sorry about the mess off the top. Tentacle gets deployed from hand. He does use working much more closely, as expected, to pull Kira out of the deck. She's going to cover another Cloud City site over here. He also drops Forlom from hand. Curious, he's used Forlom to draw a card before pulling the gun out. Maybe a little minor misstep here, but he still gets the gun. Maybe when he looked and saw, maybe he saw 2 guns in the deck. It was like, it doesn't matter which one I pull, I'll be okay. Because I can, yeah, if I draw one now, I just pull the other one later. And he does. Hondo gets a Black Sun Blaster, and Kira gets the Crimson Dawn Blaster. So all 3 Crimson Dawn Blasters are on the table. Yeah, right? I got 2 guns, 1 for each of you. That's a Tombstone reference for AJ, because I don't think he's seen that movie yet. All right, so the objective flips. And Sam will get a peek here. He does take one of the cards into hand, and now we'll see if he, again, wants to, which way he wants to move the prince, or does he want to move Aura over to the prince and invite the battle? Nope, he's just going to move the prince away. Like, we do know he has the Gick because he pulled it earlier, so. But Sam's going to play it safe. He's certainly threatening a lot more damage output currently right now. So he's going to let Cedric continue to pay to drain for 3 and just keep, you know, paper cutting away and chipping away at things. All right. Cedric does activate and pay 3 to drain for 3. Sam loses the first light. I'm sorry, he loses the blast door controls from hand, and then force push and defensive fire off the top of his reserve deck. He's got 7 down and 3 active. Whether he needs it for various interrupts or just plans on using the 3 for a Jabba's twerps. General Leia comes down in front of Hondo. Now he's going to use a good friends once per game action to exchange a Skywalker from hand with Ben Solo in Lost Pile. So he throws away a Luke Last Jedi to get Ben back, but Ben can only deploy the lightsaber from Lost once per game, so he can't get Leia's saber back again. He's already done that trick. Certainly does have a lot of power here, though. And just in case he were to get hit with some type of weapon. Oh, and a Padme also coming down as well. Cedric definitely going to secure this site again, and also not fall prey to, some type of wounded warrior or something like that, by leaving himself with just like 1 character capable of drawing. He does initiate battle. He's going to retrieve "They're tracking us" with Leia's text. He can also retrieve 1 more if he wants to with the epic event. There's the defensive fire. Okay. So we saw one of those sitting on the top of his lost pile. Here's number 2. And he's going to take a shot at Ben solo. He spends the remaining 2 force for the other blaster deflection. So he will no longer be able to retrieve the second card. An interesting choice, because you wonder if you're the dark side player, do you pass and see if he pays to retrieve the second force and then can't play the blaster deflection? Or do you kind of assume he's only going to do the one retrieval, which is most likely what's going to happen? Because he's going to want to at least stop you from shooting a person and then drawing a destiny to shoot a second person. Because the Black Sun Blaster here, they're just hit and you can activate a force. So it doesn't even affect the ability to be forfeited or anything like that to cover attrition. Okay, so Sam does hit Padme. He's not going to recirculate it this time. He is going to use Rook to peek here. We do get a Destiny to Attrition added as well with Padme. She covers 7 forfeit. Now, if Sam were to be lucky enough to find a 7 and then add 1 with Maul, that would be an 8. He would get 2 characters out of this battle. He does add a Destiny to Power here. Okay, that should also help. Hondo's going to cover 5 plus 3 from the gun is... So we're almost effectively even. And there's the job as twerps. To get that 3 retrieval in. While he's got the third sight with the guy. He's going to retrieve the defensive fire, the force push, and the blast door controls. Get a little extra light force back to work with there. Destiny to Power for Sam is a 4, so it's 13 to 8 right now. Lightside's Battle Destiny is a 5. That's going to be good enough to clear both the gun and the character, especially with an additional draw coming from Padme. So now it's really just about seeing what... Hey, there's that 7. Add 1 with Maul to make it an 8. And that's going to get rid of 2 people. Not at all what Cedric was hoping was going to happen there. So we'll see Sam throw the gun to the used pile. Hondo will be lost. Padme just got lost because she was hit. And Cedric will have to lose 1 more character. He has 3 cards in hand and no force left remaining to move away. He can still use the 1-0 site, though, to move for free. So if Leia wants to just, avoid a potential game-ending beatdown, using the upper plaza corridor, and he smartly does protect himself from that. He will take a ping damage. No ping damage because he doesn't occupy 3 battlegrounds anymore. Yeah, he only occupies 2 currently. So it's 14 down, 11 in hand for 25 total for Sam. 25 down, 3 in hand for Cedric. For 28 total. Sam activates 12. Rapio, Forlom's a card. Pick something back up there. Is that the defensive fire again? He does ping for 2. We see a Clash of Sabers and a solo come off the top. Hey, look, kids, it's Hondo. He's going right back to the Cloud City guest quarters with a Black Sun blaster. Like exactly what we just saw there a turn ago. I know it's a different Hondo, though. Dr. E going in front of the Jedi now. Sam realizing he can't take too many turns of being drained for 3, so he's going to try and make something happen here. His objective does flip. He does get to recirculate, and he'll get to peek at some cards. Now we'll see exactly who he decides to move over. He moves the Prince back, and probably Aura as well. Oh, he's just bringing everybody, I think. Yep. He's bringing everybody. Okay. And he does occupy his 3 battlegrounds now, so he will get the 1 ping damage in. Draws 1 card first, saves 1. Just keep, again, chipping away. There goes a Luke off the top. So Cedric down to 22 in reserve deck right now, 3 in hand. With only 3 cards in hand, obviously Cedric is in a bit of a tough spot with what he can do this turn. It may be something as simple as, you know, perhaps move the 2 Jedi away to the other site and then just draw a bunch of cards to prepare yourself for the next round. And just know that, Sam could pay to drain if he wants to, but I mean, they're small drains of 1. He'd have 3 ping damage, potentially. Oh, he found Ray. There's a Ray coming down in front of Hondo. She's going to get hit with a barrier, which does get a Bith shuffle. So 2 of the 3 cards in his hand were Ray and a card to cancel it. And the shuffle's going to get grabbed. That is also a decent card to grab, especially with the manipulation in this deck. You don't want your opponent shuffling away your well-tracked destinies. But this is also another retrieval opportunity because, Ray has text that allows her to retrieve, and she is considered a Skywalker, so if he initiates battle, he can also retrieve force for that. He relocates the lightsaber to her using a good friend here. Relocate Anakin's lightsaber between Rey and the Skywalker. So you can just keep passing that thing back and forth, and it's once per turn. So he can move it to her, kill Hondo, and then on Sam's turn, if he needs it, move it back to Luke. Now with only 1 card left in hand. Oh, he's going to add Lando as well. Now Lando's just adding a bunch of power. That's the last card in his hand was Lando. Adding a bunch of power, perhaps forcing Sam to have to play the Gick. But Lando does not add a battle destiny because of Be With Me. Rey and characters with her may not add battle destiny draws. So he's got 12 power, 12 to 4. The gun covers 3, so 12 to 7. Sam has an imbalance combo. Okay, so he retrieved Luke for initiating the battle, and now he's going to play the imbalance combo to make him lose 1. See if he wants to just lose the Luke he just retrieved. He top decks and loses the Hujix. All Right, so he is going to swing and hit Hondo. It's a 6 and a 5 for a total of 11. Hondo's hit, forfeit 0. Take a shot back. He's going for Ray. He draws a 5. She's only defense value 6, so Maul can add 1 to that. And that 6 does hit her. And that does flip the objective, so now Darkseid will get a Destiny to power to try and offset some of the damage that they're about to take. And Rook is going to get to peek and manipulate those draws a little bit. Brigham, thank you for resubscribing. 11 months now. You're just shy of your 1 year. And there's a Wounded Warrior also being played. Going to reduce Ray's power to 0. It does get grabbed. And she may not apply ability towards drawing Battle Destiny. And since Lando adds a Battle Destiny, that doesn't work with Ray. So no Battle Destiny now for Lightside in this situation here. And then we'll see Sam add a Destiny to power here in a second. Now Ray is not forfeit 0, so she's still going to cover 8. Oh, Sam's asking in chat, why don't you get to draw? Yeah, and the Saber is going to go lost now. Well, he could potentially lose the gun, which is what Sam might be a little more upset about. Now they're realizing, oh yeah, it's Ray, can't add. Cedric makes a joke first. Yeah, if he doesn't add a Destiny to power, and I mean, if he doesn't draw a Battle Destiny, then he just forfeits the gun used. But then Lando gets to live, and then Leia moves over. I think well, I mean, you're not even gonna get Lando either way. So Sam's just gonna decline to draw as well. The gun will cover everything. Ray dies. Yeah, because she's not forfeit 0. So you're not gonna outpower them by 8. So Sam wants to protect the gun. So he'll be okay with just swapping that all around. Leia will move back over for free. Lando will have 1 upkeep. He took a Rebel Leadership into hand when he drew it earlier for Weapon Destiny. Oh, he's going to opt to move the Jedi away instead. And then I guess Lando's going to go out of play or recycled. He's not going to be able to pay the upkeep on Lando then. Okay. Leia moves over in front of Kira. I mean, he grabbed the Wounded Warrior, right? So he feels at least a little safe about that play. But he can't feel too good about it. With Sam having 8 cards in hand, any type of Destiny that can make forfeit 0. And he does just activate 12 here. Sam will ping for 1. There goes the neighbor and leads off the top. Dryden Voss goes down. Voss's text will deploy a gun from reserve deck. He also gets now controlling 2 battlegrounds with gangsters, which will auto flip him during his the start of the battle phase. So this will get recirculated. He'll get to Rook again to set up the Destiny. Question is just, does he have another character to go with Kira to perhaps get some more power or forfeit here? Because he knows the one card in Cedric's hand is a leadership. Does he have anything for forfeit fodder that he can utilize here? All right, we're going to go straight to battle phase. Take a look around. He recycled 4 cards. 1 for a weapon destiny, 1 for a destiny to power, 1 for a battle destiny. He's not going to battle. Instead, he's just going to move some people around. Just going to chase Luke and Yoda. And again, Sam knowing the 1 card in his hand is the leadership. Sam moves everybody over in front of Luke and Yoda. He's got 3 left active. He just draws 1 so far and saves the other 2. He'll take the 1 ping when he flips. There goes My Sister Has It from the top of deck. Cedric at 19 in life force, 1 in hand. Sam at 10 in life force, 9 in hand, so only a 1 card differential between them still. Both players have about 20 minutes left on their clock. Sam's at 18 and a half, Cedric's at 21. All right, so Cedric just going straight through the phases all the way to battle. Leia's going to battle. There's a defensive fire getting played. Here we're going to take a shot. Defensive fire, stunning leader. Now +2 because of the defensive fire, so he doesn't need to modify anything. So Leia's hit. That flips the objective. Rook lets him peek at the next 2 cards again. Cedric would get an action here if he wants to do a second retrieval, which he does. He's going to get the neighboring back. And does Sam have the stunning leader? No. Okay, so we see a rebel leadership played. To add the second battle destiny, there's a destiny to power getting added. We got a 5 for a destiny to power. And now we've got 2 battle destiny being drawn here. It's a 4. And a 1. Kira's got no immunity, so there's no point in subtracting from that. And there's a 7. Adding 1 to it still doesn't get any additional damage through, but he will. Highly unlikely Yoda and Luke are going to battle over there, so The gun gets forfeited used. Kira goes lost. We'll see Cedric move away again. And then draw 9 or 10 cards. Maybe you missed it, but why didn't Sam add a power draw versus Leia? He did add a power draw in that battle versus Leia there. He drew a 5 for power and then drew a 7 for battle destiny. But it wasn't enough to cause overflow because she wasn't forfeit 0. Sam activates everything. He's going to ping for 2. Cedric loses a Luke from hand and a Rise of Skywalker from hand. We haven't seen Sam pay to drain, I don't think, once yet this game. He moves the Prince's gun to Maul. Perhaps Maul may be sticking around. He might just move the other 4 over in front of Yoda and Luke and leave Maul so he covers the 3rd battleground. Because he'll flip in his battle phase here. Okay, there's Cad Bane going to the other site, so he's got the 3rd battleground there too. And Cad Bane's got a gun. There's the battle phase flip, recirculate, peek. A lot of tracking, a lot of manipulation options available in this deck. He's going to play an I don't need their scum to try to pull a Hujix or an Unita, but they are both already lost and have not been retrieved. Prince moves over, Rook moved over. There goes Aura moving over. I would imagine Dr. E's coming along too. Yeah, and leave Maul behind. Both Leia and Anakin's lightsabers have been lost and no way to get them out of the lost pile. So it seems reasonable. I mean, unless there's like an EPP Ahsoka or something in the deck that Maul would have to worry about. Cedric plays that they're tracking us to activate 1, so he's now just put 5/4 on the bottom of his deck. And he will take a ping damage from the objective flipping at the end of the turn, though. And he top decks a Ray off the top of, yeah, the reserve deck there. So Cedric activates, leaving 3. He's got 13 force active. It's a card. I don't know if we know what that top one is, and then it's 4/5. So something 4/5. he does plan on going down to battle somewhere. And he could peek and shuffle them around. As long as it's not a 1, he's probably safe to do. He would probably be able to successfully hit anybody he would want to if he's coming down with a character with the weapon. But Sam continues to just threaten good spread damage everywhere. Nope, Cedric's going to activate 2 more force now. Activating all 15. He's got 1 left in reserve deck, which is the 5. And there's a disarmed on Yoda. So now the Jedi lightsaber is also lost. And Cedric only 3 cards in hand. Starting to run out of options here and ways to deal with just, again, what Shadow Collective can do in these games sometimes, where it is just the death by 1,000 paper cuts. It's like you never got force drained the entire game. It's just this one little ping here and there, over and over and over again. Rey goes down in front of Cad Bane, and she gets hit with a barrier. And there's the Ahsoka we were just foreshadowing. She's going down in front of Dryden Voss. Now, Voss has some immunity, does he not? He's immune to less than 5. And if he subtracts 1 from the draw, so Ahsoka would not clear Voss. Yep. And he will not battle. Instead, he will just block the damage and then move away. Both Jedi going over in front of Maul. And we'll get to draw 1 card here. He takes the second one. We've got a 5 on top, 3 cards in hand for light side. Dark side's got 7 in hand. And they will only flip if he hits somebody. And the only card offhand that he knows where it is the barrier. Depending on how he's been keeping track of his force pile, he may know what the force he spent was to play the barrier. Or he could just activate 8 and then go peek for something. All right, so Sam activates all of it. He pings for 1. There goes a Lando from hand. And then he does pay to drain for the first time this game for 1 more ping damage, which gets the I don't need their scum off the top of the deck. And Sam's going to go right to move phase. He's just going to shuffle some people around. The Prince moves over. Maul moves away. Rook moves over. Aura moves over. With no weapons now, he might be inclined to leave Maul and Dr. E together. That way, in case the Jedi do move, he does still have the option to potentially battle into them and try to break this loop and break this cycle here. Sam's down to 13 minutes on his clock, so he can't afford to just keep, you know, one by one forever. But no, he is going to move Dr. E over as well. Okay. He draws a card. Cedric plays My Sister Has It to cycle a 5 back, putting him down to just one card in hand now. Cedric activates down, keeps 4 force remaining. He uses Ray's text, puts My Sister Has It out of play, and retrieves the Rise of Skywalker. Sam then plays the Imbalance combo to make him lose a force, and he loses the Rise of Skywalker that he just retrieved. And now we're going to get a battle here with Ahsoka going up against Dryden Voss. There's a 5 with My Sister Has It, and a 4 from the neighboring leads he retrieved a couple turns ago. So Voss is hit, forfeit -2. And Voss will return the favor here. And misses. And there's another 5. Certainly no need to modify it since your guy's already hit. Not like you're going to take overflow here, so save it for the second battle, which is likely going to be Rey against Cad Bane. Ooh, there's a 7 for Battle Destiny. So the gun gets forfeited used. Voss will die. Ahsoka's gone, so that whole site is cleared again. And now I expect we'll see Rey battle into Cad Bane. Yep. And that'll get another retrieval. Ooh, there's a defensive fire. It's a 2, which becomes a 4. No Sith Fury or anything, so that will miss. Rey does get to retrieve one here. She'll get Ahsoka back. Now he does get to shoot again, because the defensive fire lets the weapon fire again in this battle. So he will get a second chance. And draws the first light, so that's also going to miss. But now Rey's immunity is only less than 5. And Cad Bane has no immunity. That's the 5 he put back last turn, which becomes a 6 because of Be With Me. So that's going to be enough to clear Cad Bane off that site completely. Now it's just a matter of, will Sam be able to take Rey off the table also? He's got to save Maul's ability here to add one just in case. It's a 4, so he can add one to that. Alright, so the gun goes back, Ray dies, Cad Bane dies. And then I expect we see Luke and Yoda move away in front of Maul. Both sides have to be very low on characters. I mean, I know Cedric just retrieved Ahsoka back, but I mean, he's lost multiple Ben Solos and Leia's and Ahsoka and Padme and Lando's, and Luke and Yoda are kind of stuck on the table without any weapons to speak of. And Sam does know where a 7 is, but it's Luke, so he can make him redraw it unless he's got a dark time or something to stop the draw from being canceled. Cedric with 11 down, 5 in hand. Sam has got 13 down and 6 in hand. Sam left 2, used Forlom to draw something back into hand, which is probably the gun he just sent used. Or one of the guns he sent used from the Voss battle, maybe. So and then he activated the other 4. So he'll ping for 1. We'll probably see him pay to drain for 1. Just to try and speed this along. And then we'll see if he drops somebody else again over to Cloud City. And then does the shuffle. Yep, he's got Lady Proxima. Now, she can't have a gun. But maybe she's got a friend. He's got Ventress. Okay. Now, Proxima is a gangster, so she does get to recirculate and flip and do all that fun stuff. And Ventress can hold the gun, because there's no requirements there. So that'll flip, that'll recirculate. He'll get a peek. And then we do see that he does shuffle. He moves Aura and Dr. E over, and I was kind of thinking that might be all he moved. It's just them. Leave the other 2, again, leaving himself with options here. So he's got weapons at both sites, and, you know, Luke and Yoda eventually have to kind of get cornered and slowed down here. Cedric's going to play My Sister Has It from hand, nothing to dig out. Plays Leadership from hand, nothing to dig out. So he has just 2 cards in hand, but he did cycle back a 4 and a 5. And now he will get pinged for 1. And loses another My Sister Has It off the top. Sam's going to Forlom something. Again, both players with 11 cards left down. They're just sort of, you know, manipulating the same cards back and forth. Sam picks up I Never Ask for Anything Twice and uses it to dig the first light out of his reserve deck. Just getting rid of a 2, basically. So he doesn't accidentally draw it for Destiny again. Cedric's got Anakin. Okay, so Anakin's going in front of Ventress. Interesting. I mean, he's got a 5 queued up for Battle Destiny there, so it will be a 6. But you'd like to no 4 save for Sam, so he can't even, you know, shoot him and play like Wounded Warrior or something like that. But he's just trying to take the gun and take the ping damage away. And there is a defensive fire. All part of this little combo with Rook constantly cycling cards back. He draws a print. That's going to miss. No redraw. Sam did just shuffle, so that was completely blind. So now Anakin gets to retrieve one. He'll get back that my sister has it that he just lost. He's going to try and shoot with the gun instead of swinging with the lightsaber. And misses. All right. So dark side, light side's going to draw their 5, which will clear. And dark side is hoping that they don't draw low. Anakin's only immune to less than 4, and he can add one still with Maul, so it is a 4, so that'll make sure he gets him. All right, so gun goes used, Ventress dies, Anakin dies. Darkseid continues to slowly win the, I think he's locked into using the gun since he used it for defensive fire. That's a good point. You can only fire one weapon per turn, so because he did use the defensive fire, he can't switch weapons and swing the lightsaber. That's a good call out. Luke and Yoda move away. And he'll draw a couple cards. So Cedric up to 3 in hand with 11 down. Sam at 4 in hand with 13 down. Sam's got 9.5 minutes on his clock. Cedric has 14 minutes on his clock. Sam activates 6, uses 4 Lom to drop a card, to draw a card here. Possibly getting the gun back. And then he'll activate all of it. Because he does have 2 gangsters, he is going to flip. So he can ping for 1. He can pay to drain in both spots if he wants to, and then recirculate. All right, so the 1 ping damage gets Jedi Levitation from hand. And Sam will pay to drain at least in 1 spot. There goes my sister have it off the top. Going to deploy. All right, so Dengar's coming down with Proxima. Dengar can get a gun. Yep, there you go. He's getting the Crimson Dawn Blaster. Now he'll recirculate, shuffle, peek. If he likes what he sees, he can try battling here. If he doesn't like what he sees, then he'll just quickly shuffle some people around, do 1 ping damage from the objective, and call it a day. Yep, he's going to move phase, so we're just going to do a little shuffle. Aura moves over, Dr. E moves over. The Prince moves back to cover Maul. Oh, Maul moved over too. Okay. That's not what I was expecting to happen, but sure. The Rook moved back. Okay. So he just shuffled all 5 people. All right, so Cedric activated all of it, drops Ahsoka in front of the guest quarters, slides Luke and Yoda over, and recirculates. So, again, just buying a little bit of time here. Sam's going to activate all of his force. He'll ping for one, pay to drain for one. Cedric loses another. My sister has it. And quite a mercenary from reserve deck. Card I bet he would have liked 7 turns ago. We're on turn 12, by the way. Not a lot of Star Wars games you see go to turn 12, and we're still not done. Because he doesn't control, he doesn't flip. So we do see Proxima move away. And Dengar's going to join her. And Aura shuffles over. Is he going to move anybody else? Yep, he's taking Dr. E as well. I don't think I've ever really thought of Star Wars in terms of average turns per game, our tournament advocate Chris Schoenthal wonders. I wonder if we have numbers somewhere on that. We probably do. Probably can pull that data from Jemp and find out in leagues and competitive matches what the average turn time is, and probably can check out some trending about that, and then that would be helpful information for design to know if the game is too fast, too slow, somewhere in between. I think 8 is usually a pretty decent number for most games. You usually get about 8 turns, from what I see with a lot of games on Gem. Of course, it could be just people conceding early and whatnot sometimes too, and recognizing in this situation, with Cedric down to 6 remaining cards face down and 1 in hand, that this little ping ping is eventually going to catch up to him. He drops Anakin in front of the stack of guys and just leaves him there and moves Ahsoka and says, go. And again, Sam has the option to just activate pay to drain with Maul, ping for 1, and say go right back. Or just shuffle Dengar and Proxima away again and then say go, just knowing that he's really not much left that Cedric can do to him in terms of damage. And yeah, Cedric's recognizing that there's really nothing left that he can do. He's gonna the music has stopped here. Time to close up. So he's gonna call it a good game and go ahead and concede. And Sam Tashima will take down the win for Team USA and take Team USA to a 3-0 lead with 9 games still left to be played. Thank you all very much for tuning in today and watching this matchup. I believe we have our next game is not until the 27th, I think is what they're currently scheduled, but be sure and check the forums and for any other games that might get added between now and then. As always, stay safe, have fun, and we'll see you around next time. Take it easy, everybody.